We keep hearing about the new earth or about this moment of rising consciousness, ascension, awakening. And if you hear these voices of something rising and something awakening, it may feel very insubstantial. What are we talking about? Everything's getting worse. The apocalyptic narrative has a lot of apparent proof to it. It really can look like everything is getting worse on this planet and maybe in your own life. And yet, we call ourselves New Wave mystics because we find a mystical, direct connection with a wave of consciousness that is rising through the chaos, or rather actually is pulling from the future, pulling us through this chaos into a higher level of consciousness. And it's a wave that is carrying us. So the method to be carried into this highest possible future involves a certain literacy of waves, which we teach in iWAVE work. And also, it's a wave to which it's carrying us. It's a wave-like reality. So another way of saying that is that we're, as many people say, we're exiting 3D and we're entering either 4D or 5D, but some version of density or dimensionality that is more spacious and less solid and less materially bound. And one way of saying this is that we're exiting an era of states of consciousness. Static means, non-moving, stuck, frozen, non-dynamic. And a state is actually something frozen and that stays the same. So the opposite of static is dynamic or wave-like or flowing or moving. And it's been my very surprising awakening that everything is actually wave-like, and that by learning in myself to ride the waves of life in a very specific way, I start to perceive that there is a rising wave, like a rising tide, but very dynamic, moving through all of the forms that are right now in their death knell, in their death phase, and actually birthing out of this chaos of seeming death and everything falling apart. This new wave is birthing a more fluid and actually loving form. It's still not just pure movement. There's going to be some form, but it's going to be much more fluid. And if you get your security and safety from fixing things and from having everything very, very stable and unchanging, this is a horrible time to be alive. And yet it's not so difficult to shift your mode from being, you might say, addicted to control, addicted to things staying solid and to a particular state of consciousness, and the incredible ecstasy that comes from learning to surf life's waves, the waves of higher consciousness, actually, the waves of the one ocean or field of consciousness that we live within, which is love. And it consists of waves. And if we can learn to perceive and then surf those waves, it's so much more relaxing than thinking, well, I've got 10 million in the bank and I've got a couple of people who have to take care of me, or whatever your particular hope is for stability and security, which of course won't work because we've come into the age of waves. And we invite you in our iWAVE Institute to journey with us, to surf with us, to become part of a collective of more fluid and dynamically intelligent practices. You can look all over the website for more about this. Welcome.